Hello, and welcome back to Kathie's Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Kathie Owen. Today is something a little different. I am recording my speech that I gave at Toastmasters the other day. Got a lot of great feedback on it from distinguished Toastmasters, and I'm inserting some of that feedback into my speech, and I just wanted to share it with you. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Expectations are a funny thing. And I don't mean funny, haha. I mean funny, peculiar. We simply expect to win the big speech contest or have our favorite team win the big game. Or we might even expect our children to follow a certain path. But today, I invite you to look at expectations differently. My love of sports started many years ago. I grew up here in the Houston area, but there's something you must know about me. I was raised by a very intelligent man. My father possesses a PhD in mathematics. Not only that, he taught mathematics at the University of Houston. Go Cougs! He didn't just teach regular math. No, he taught graduate math. Did you know that to get a PhD in mathematics, to prove a theory no one else has ever proven? My father graded that stuff. Me and math, we don't get along. In fact, I had trouble communicating with my father. Oh, I know he loved me and he definitely cares for me, but communication was off. But there was something. I remember growing up, going to college football games with my father, and even watching the Houston Astros, my favorite baseball team, on television. And my father taught me different things about the game. He taught me why athletes stood where they stood and how they performed under such immense pressure. Communication was spot on. But allow me to explain the time I decided to declare my major at the University of Houston. I told my father I am studying psychology. My father, being the intellect that he was, said, "Psychology? What in the world are you going to do with that?" Little did either of us know, I would go on to use that degree every single day of my life. I quickly fell in love with sports psychology. I studied athletes, how they performed under such immense pressure. There's wins, there's losses, there's off season, there's injuries, there's practice, and there's more practice. And then there's expectations. There's the expectations of yourself. There's the expectations from your coaches. And the expectations from the fans, those can change in a given moment. Sounds a lot like life, don't you think? In December of last year, I came across a book called Inner Excellence. For it was, in fact, being read by a professional athlete during a professional football game. The announcers were actually ridiculing this player for reading a book during a game. Who did he think he was? Reading a book during a professional football game. Wasn't he supposed to be paying attention to the sidelines, to his teammates, to the strategies? I had to get this book. I read it cover to cover. It was all about sports psychology, and that lights me up like a firecracker. In fact, the author of that book coined the title to my speech today. Expect nothing, I can handle anything. Expectations can actually limit you. And in the book, he teaches us 3 ways to overcome expectations. Let's start with wisdom, number 1. We need wisdom to overcome those limiting beliefs and understand and have discernment on what is right for us. Then we also need, number 2, courage. Courage to overcome those limiting beliefs and also to understand that not everything works out the way we planned, but to still hold that faith because it takes courage to hold that faith. And then there's number 3, love. For the greatest of these is love. And when you love and you find love, even for your opponent, you realize that if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be a competition. So let's go back to my father. He taught me all of these things through sports psychology and through understanding the nature of the game and the game of life. And communication was spot on. So, my friend, today I invite you to drop expectations. For when you do, you might just find you can handle anything. Because expectations can actually limit you. Like I said, expectations are a funny thing. Thank you. All right, so that was my speech, and that's what I got great feedback on. And actually, I've changed it up, and every time I record it, I think of something else I could add or something else I could change. So, this is always a work in progress, just like life. Thank you for watching, and I trust that you found it helpful. If you know somebody who can benefit from this, please share with them. And until next time, I will see you next time. Peace out and namaste. Be out.